Welcome back to Moonkin Stitchery. Today I will be showing you how I quilted the Lovely Bones mini quilt. First up, we will go ahead and start with the beginner friendly quilting pattern, but please take the time to like and subscribe to the channel and also hit the notification bell so you can be notified for your next quilt project. So how I started was I picked a section from the edge of the mini quilt and I created an S-shaped squiggly line. Then I started echoing the same S shape that I just created. And once I've echoed a few times, I'll just branch off of the area and start a new squiggly line. And I'll continue echoing on that line. Slowly but surely, I'll just echo until I have filled in a good portion of the area, and I'll carefully make my way around the edge of the applique exterior piece. And I'll slowly go in, within, and just make my way around by also trying to keep a natural flow. Then I'll go ahead and go back, fill in the remaining area. Then I'll just repeat the same steps from forward on. Create an S shape, echo, echo again, make my way around the applique, filling in voided areas, and just go ahead and keep repeating. Fill into the top corner, then I'll go ahead and make my way down, and then I'm going to go ahead and create a really long squiggly line. So the squiggle lines can be short in length, they can be really long. It's whatever you like. There is no right or wrong with this style of quilting. You're literally just filling in area, and the squiggle line is just a basic beginner shape. So once you've filled in, you just branch off, start a new one, and echo, echo, echo. That's basically it. Now here, as you can see, my echo line was starting to get a little chunky, so I went ahead and changed the direction up a bit, and now I'm filling in closely to the rib piece, just side to side, and then I make my way back out. And then I'm going to start a new squiggly line. So I create the squiggle and echo. And what do you know? I'm just echoing again, filling in the areas, making my way back out and around, and continuing the shape. And that's it. It's pretty simple, pretty easy. So go ahead and continue watching, and I'll show you how I quilted the whole entire thing. Once I've completed all around the background of the applique, I went ahead and started creating the same squiggly motions, but within each of the rib pieces. Now, I do create a lot of start and stops, so to be sure, if you are doing the same thing, create anchored stitches before you move on to the next section. If you prefer to bury your threads, be sure to create a longer thread tail in between each rib piece, so then later on you can go back and cut and then go ahead and bury the threads in between the quilt layers. Now, I chose not to do so since this will be a mini quilt that I will have laying on a table, side table, and my husband even has the spare one hanging in his office. So these will rarely be washed, and at best case, they'll probably be hand washed if needed. Since this is the scrappy version and my heart has black lines within it and I am quilting with a black thread, I thought I will make my way around the heart piece and then also create a heart shape within it. Now, you don't have to do this. The next quilt I do leave it blank and empty just to keep it puffy, but this one I thought let's just quilt it down. And for the next mini quilt, I would say this is a confident beginner quilting pattern. It does go off of basic structures that you learn as a beginner quilter, but we will just be elevating it a little bit more. To start this mini quilt, I wanted to place a spider web in the top left corner, and how I started this was by using a straight edge and created lines at an angle. Then I'll move in just a bit and create a new line while traveling down and back up on the same exact line. I'll repeat this motion until I feel I have enough of a base to start my spider webs. I'll then move up the edge of the quilt and start creating curved half moon shapes to each line. Once I hit the end, I'll repeat the same motion going backwards. To give this quilt some depth within the quilting, I will travel around the applique, but still trying to create it like it's continuing in the same direction or motion like a natural spider web. As you can see, I am now making my way back around the applique to go ahead and finish off this spider web. Next, I will create pebbles in various sizes. Some will have a larger pebble shape with a swirl in the middle just to give it more texture since I'm wanting to quilt this quilt to death. I will be working my way around the applique while also trying to fill in the background. I'll continue to do so until I feel I have enough of the area quilted or that I'm pleased with it. As you can see, I'm just making my way around and inside these smaller areas, and I'll just come back out and continuing doing pebble work. Some will get the swirl, some will not, and I'll just keep continuing. Although pebble work is a little bit of a challenge, fun and neat, Sometimes I don't like personally quilting pebbles that much. So I'm going to go ahead and change the quilting back up again, and I'll do so by creating horizontal lines back and forth. I will try and keep my lines as close as possible just to keep the quilting dense in this area. I will also work my way around the edge of the applique shape too. You don't have to make your lines as dense, or you can still use your straight edge ruler to go and keep a nice straight line, but the preference is up to you. I'm just going to go ahead and go as dense as possible just so I can keep the same texture and just give it a little something else. Once I feel I've done enough of the line work, I will start adding pebbles again. I do not want to create a harsh line, so to make it more fluid, I am creating pebbles at an angle downwards. Then I will go back in and fill in the area with horizontal lines. Then I'll just work my way back out and then start creating more pebbles again. This way it does keep it fluid and more natural, so you don't have just a straight line. Since I really loved how the spider web turned out, I wanted to add another one in the bottom right corner. So to do so, I just traveled down the edge of the quilt, then using the straight edge ruler again, I started creating my lines going back and forth down the line. I will keep repeating until I have enough of a good base so I can go ahead and start quilting off of those. Once I do so, I will then create the curved half moon shapes by also working up the spider web and also around the applique. Once I finish the spider web, I will go back and fill in the area I left out with more pebbles. That way it does look more fluid and also creates the natural look. Then I'll just travel around the edge of the mini quilt and work my way back around the other side of the new spider web we just created. And I'm going to repeat the same steps again by adding pebbles and horizontal lines just to finish off the background area of the applique. Lastly, we must quilt in between the rib pieces. I will be alternating between pebbles and the horizontal line work. As I stated in the first Lovely Bones mini quilt, I do create a lot of start and stops. So please be sure that if you are doing the same thing, you are creating an anchored stitch before you move on to the next section. If you prefer to bury your threads, just make sure you create a longer thread tail in between each rib piece, so then later you can go back and cut the threads and then go ahead and bury them in between the quilt layers. do hope you have enjoyed this video. If you would like to make the Lovely Bones mini quilt, the link for it will be down below in the description, as well as the link for the video on how to make it. But please be sure to like and subscribe to the channel for more projects for you to complete.